Here are 3 players to watch in the NCAA tournament that if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Everyone just loves New Mexico to upset number 6, have the potential to go at least one more round. Deron Holmes, Shahade Wells, and Enrique Freeman, 3 players you have to know about. Nice to see everybody back with you again. The FTN College Basketball Betting Show. Mike Randle here with you. Follow me on X at Randle Rant. And you see at the bottom, you want to join us at FTN Fantasy. You do want to join us. We have incredible stuff. We're putting previews out for each of the wild card weekends. You have Stats Hub, big graphics that you can find. We have the Insight. Jeff Ratcliffe have his betting picks, which were on fire last year. You want to join us here, get in the Discord. Some of these lines have moved. You know that. We're having a great season. As always, we are moving towards March Madness. Make sure you join us here. Comments, who's in the house. Jameson, good to see you, buddy. West Virginia, tough one the other night, but doing better. Good to see you, Jameson. Yeah, good day the other day, Costco. See if we get another one. Dan in the house. Yes, go Irish tonight. Very nice. And Dan, nice cover by the Irish. Marcus Burton back. Good cover there, but 2.5. Tommy B, let's have a day. You know what? I like Marshall today. I like Marshall. Also, Tommy, we'll get to that. Thank you very much. In my continual service to all of the subs and people here that make the FTN Fantasy Show so great, I have decided to try something new today. We're going to go in reverse order of confidence. We'll see how long this lasts, how well this goes. We're going in reverse order of confidence. I have 15 plays today, and I have put them in reverse order of confidence. So we're going to build to the most confident place at the end. Those are the ones that are going to go in the parlays. Let's see how we do. What do you guys say? Let's give it a shot here. We're trying something new on the show. Reverse order of confidence, just to see how we do. Here we go, folks. Start it up, get it ready, and you get your games in there too. Of course, this is a collaborative experience. We want to talk here about what we like, what we don't like, etc. Let's give it a shot and see what we do. Here we go, folks. 15 plays in reverse order. First one is up. I put this one in the chat. It's 4. I don't know if you can still get it at 4. The reason this one is last is I do like UNC Greensboro here, but you go against these teams that hit 3-pointers in bunches, and you never know when they're going to get hot. And that's the one variable that I cannot account for. If a team is going to be brutal from 3 and they normally make a lot of threes, I can't do anything about that. If a team is going to be scalding hot from 3, they're going to run away and hide. There's nothing I can do about that. All we want is normal variance here. But UNC Greensboro plays Chattanooga very tough, and they do defend the 3 extremely well. So UNCG is on the road today. They are 2-0 in the SoCon. They were sort of not given as much respect as they normally have because they lost a lot, some key players, but they do have 47% of their minutes back, and they hold opponents to 29% from 3-point range. That is top 25 in the country. So they should be able to defend Chattanooga tonight and to limit Chattanooga. Now, Chattanooga lost 2 of their last 3. They bounced back and beat the Citadel away. First time that they're home since being away for 3 games. So definitely I could see them getting hot tonight, which is why this is number 15. But they've really benefited from teams shooting only 66% from the free throw line against them. So that's a big deal. UNCG, well coached by Mike Jones. UNCG does well against Chattanooga. UNCG does turn the ball over and defend the 3. I'm going to take the 4 points, but Chatta could have a game where they hit a million threes. And if they do that, nothing I can do about it. That's why it's number 15. I think this line's too much. I think Oregon State is good. They burned us against Loyola Marymount because Loyola Marymount had a night, like we just mentioned, where they hit a ton of threes. But Wayne Tinkle's squad is 12-4. They lost at a neutral to Nebraska. No shame there. And they got their doors blown off by Loyola Marymount. However, they bounced back at home against San Diego and won by 27. So now they're going away to Santa Clara. They have struggled away. The only games away they've played this year are North Texas. Tough game, lost by 3. And Loyola Marymount got their doors blown off. However, I think it's a lot of points. And Santa Clara is really good on the interior. Their average height is top 29 in the country. But Oregon State has an average height of 82nd in the country. So they should be able to bang with them a little bit. Santa Clara really can't do much outside of the bigs. I kind of like them here. I like Oregon State getting 6.5 against Santa Clara. It is a road game, and Santa Clara is well coached by Herb Sendek. And they make their free throws, and they're good on the offensive boards. So I only got a 14th because I'm not putting Oregon State in the top 10. Not one of my teams this year, but I do think it's one too many points. So I'll take them there. For Joey Wright in the house, we are going to Stetson. And the simple reason is I think Stetson is sort of turning a corner here. They lost a lot off of last year's magical season under Donnie Jones, 22-3, made the NCAA tournament for the first time. Just great, great story. And they started off 1-10. Then they won a game. And they played Florida away and lost. Then they played Queens away, which I told you would be tough, and lost. But they bounced back away at West Georgia and won 78-62. So now they're coming home. They haven't beaten a Division I team at home all year, but they did play decently against Mercer at home. They went to overtime. They played FIU at home. They were gamey in that one. And I don't think Central Arkansas should be this close to anybody. I don't think Central Arkansas has done anything to make me think that they're going to win on the road. They lost to Oklahoma fine on the road. They got beat by Arkansas Pine Bluff by 6. They lost to Little Rock away. They got blown out by Georgia Tech by 21. I think this is a spot that Stetson gets a win. So give me Stetson minus the small number at home against Central Arkansas, who shoots 27% from three-point range, is lethal on defense, doesn't make their free throws under 70%, doesn't get any offensive rebounds. So I like Stetson here. Joey Wright will be happy. Elon's really good, and they've been hot. You saw John Fanta put something out about Elon earlier. This one's checking in at number 12. Elon is 2-0 in the CAA. They beat North Carolina A&T away by 8. Okay. They beat Hampton at home by 8. Okay. This is a little bit of a step up in class. And my question is Elon ready to really make a run at the CAA? Billy Taylor's done a really nice job. They're good on defense in the interior. They're good on the offensive boards. But William & Mary's pretty good too. They're well coached by Brian Earl. They're on a little bit of a streak as well. Navy home win. Hofstra away win by 18. Stony Brook away win by 7. Now they're coming home. No look ahead game because it's North Carolina A&T coming up. It's not like it's Charleston or it's Drexel or it's UNC Wilmington. Elon, sometimes time to lose. Remember Tennessee? We took Florida over Tennessee on Tuesday. Sometimes it's time for them to lose. I think it's time for Elon to take a step back here. We're going to take William & Mary at home, number 12. Not huge here on William & Mary and the Tribe, but I think they shoot well at home. And I question Elon winning on the road in this spot. William & Mary's a pretty decent team. I think UMBC should be favored by 8.5 over anybody. Listen, good job by UMBC. Getting better under Jim Ferry. They push the pace. They're top 30 in the country. They get up and down the floor. They don't turn the ball over, but they're terrible on the boards because they just want to run. Now they're going on the road here. They went on the road to Binghamton, and they lost by 5. They went on the road to Marist, and they lost. They played an overtime game against Marist. They played a double overtime game against American, and they lost away at Binghamton. Go back to Gus Kearns, my buddy here. Law of efforts. Now you're on the road at NJIT. You're going to win by 9? You're going to win by 9 for a team that can't rebound. They do shoot the 3 well, but they can't defend inside the arc, and teams haven't made their free throws against them. NJIT's metrics aren't great under Grant Billmeyer, but when they're home, they usually compete. Remember, last year, NJIT at home had some interest. They beat Vermont at home. They beat UMass Lowell at home. They weren't very good last year. They're 7-21, 3-13. 8.5 for UMBC. This one checks in at number 11 here. The good coach is corollary. I always value coaches in my handicapping, and I'm doing it again here. Hofstra plus 1.5. Speedy Claxton's a really good coach. You don't trust me? Ask Rick Pitino, who said it last year. Speedy Claxton's done a good job with Hofstra. They struggled. They lost 3 straight games. The Temple at home, Quinnipiac away in overtime, and then William & Mary got blown out. But they only went up to Northeastern. They won by 18. I think they've righted the ship here. This team's played Houston this year. They played Florida State. They played Iona. They played Seton Hall. Speedy Claxton's a good coach, number 3 in the country at defending inside the arc. And now they're hosting Charleston under Chris Mack, who's been good. He's won 4 straight games. And they like to shoot the 3, but I think Speed's going to get after him a little bit here. And I think it's time for Charleston to take a little bit of a step back. This isn't Pat Kelsey's Charleston team. This is Chris Mack. And Chris Mack has been good this year. Top 16 in pace. But at home, Hofstra sort of had their low point. There's a buy low. I think they're on the way up here. I think Hofstra win this game outright. How about Hofstra plus 1.5 here against Charleston? That's where we're going. And I get it. But that's where I am going here. Let's see what we got. Okay, here we go. Next one. That's top 10. Before we get to top 10, the comments here, a couple things. Ben, I appreciate you. Yeah, Monumental. I love going on Monumental, Ben. Great for watching. I appreciate it. I get it, Jerry, and I get it. NJIT is not a great team. You look at their record last couple of years. UMBC's winning by double digits. That's what's happening here. We sure about that? Not sure about that. Site has him at 1. Can they keep Charleston? Hobson can't get to shoot. Yeah, they can't. I believe in Speedy Claxton. Last night was a classic spot I did not take. What about Chris Beard at John Calipari, X&O coach versus a guy who, kind of not X&O coach? How'd that go down? Everybody was on Arkansas, right? How'd that work out? I think Speedy's a good coach here, and that's why I'm taking them, Jerry, at home. Let's get inside the top 10, all right? Maine plays at a really slow pace, and if you look back at Binghamton, they play Maine really well. Chris Markwood is a really good coach. They play at a very slow pace. They're not making threes this year. They're not defending really well. They're good at forcing turnovers, so it's a physical game. But here comes Binghamton, who has won, by the way, if you want to take a look, 7 of their last 8 games. They beat LIU in a neutral. They beat Lafayette away. They beat Lemoyne away. They beat Mercyhurst at home. They won away at Army. They played Marist, lost, tough game away. UMBC beat them at home. This team's decent. And I don't think Maine, given their style of play and how they play, can beat anyone by this many points. And if you look at their past history, when Binghamton has played Maine, they beat Maine at home in overtime by 2. They beat Maine away by 1, so they swept Maine last year under Lavelle Sanders. Year before, they lost in overtime at home to Maine, and they lost away to Maine. So they have competed really well in 3 of the last 4, and Maine this year has not really beaten anyone by this large of a margin. They beat Duquesne away by 5. They beat Canisius, who's horrific, by 5. They lost to Fordham, brutal, away by 15. They beat Navy on a neutral by 5. Like, they don't win games by this much. I don't think it's happening here. I think Binghamton's going to play very well. Binghamton has New Hampshire coming up, so that's not a look ahead. I think it's too many points. This cracks my top 10. Greg Campy, the only reason it's not higher is because Wright State's good. And Greg Campy, sometimes he can be really great or they can struggle. Greg Campy's team is 2-3. They're coming off the loss at home to Robert Morris. But before that, they beat Milwaukee. They played tough games against Oregon State. They beat Loyola Chicago on a neutral. They battle. Sometimes Wright State can run away and hide. This one is not going to make my top 5. Wright State here, still adapting under the first year of Clint Sargent, but it's a really good program. They did beat Green Bay at home. Congratulations on that, but they had to pull away in that one. And prior to that, they lost 3 games. I think Campy shows up here. I think it's close. I wish it was like 4.5, 5, because I do think Wright State probably going to win. But you're going to give me points with Campy on the road against a first-year coach. I'm going to take it. It's going to crack my top 8. Bellarmine plus 7.5. Bellarmine could be really feisty at home. You look at their metrics, they're terrible. Bellarmine has only been D1 here now for 5 years. And this year they are 3-12 and 0-2. However, they are home against Jacksonville, and their home games this year have been interesting. Ball State home, lost by 4. Then they home against Bowling Green, they win by 12. Then home against Southern Indiana, who's okay, lost by 2. Then home to VMI, lost by 5. They play and compete at home. It's a very deliberate offense with Scott Davenport. Pass. They're shooting 80% from the free throw line. That's top 10 in the nation. And Jacksonville, who's off to a pretty good start, is only 1-1 in conference, but played well. They did have a home game against Lipscomb. They lost that. They had a home game against Austin Peay. They won that. Now they're going on the road here. They have Eastern Kentucky after this. A little bit of a look ahead. I think Bellarmine plays Jacksonville well. And if you look back last year, Bellarmine at home beat Central Arkansas. Bellarmine at home beat North Alabama. Bellarmine has competed here against some good teams at home. They play well, and they're deliberate, and they're well coached. 7.5, a little high. Going to put that one slightly ahead of Oakland because I like home teams getting points over road teams getting points. Number 6, Scott Cross covers. Now, the reason this one is 6 is because Troy has actually struggled with Texas State. You look at them last year, Scott Cross has some issues with Texas State. Last year, they lost to Texas State away, 82-79. They lost to Texas State in the Sun Belt Conference by 6. They were eliminated, but they did beat Texas State at home by 13. So I think they have motivation on their side here. They're going to want to get him back for getting eliminated from the Sun Belt. I do think Troy is a legit threat in the Sun Belt to win the conference. They have won 5 straight games. They covered against Houston prior to that. They beat Eastern Kentucky, who's good before that at home. They are 3-0. They won away at Marshall. They didn't cover by a half point, but it was a good comeback win. They beat App State, who's now on fire. They got App State at the right time, and they do not see them again, which is a huge advantage because Dustin Kearns can really coach. They do have Arkansas State at home on the horizon, but I do think you get a good effort here. And Texas State lost 60% of their team from last year. So Terrence Johnson, good coach, good defensive team. They're going to shoot threes. They've also had teams only make 65% of their free throws against them. They have lost 3 straight games, Texas State. On a little bit of a slide, just lost to App State. Marshall, this is their 3rd straight road game in a row in 7 days. This is Scott Cross time. Scott Cross -6 against Texas State. That one is not in the parlay. You could edit it if you wanted to go 6 teams, but I did not put it in the parlay. Here come the parlay picks for you. The top 5 are a parlay pick for you. Here we go. Hugh. Oh, Hugh, great to see you. Thank you. Brett, I talked about it. I am taking UNCG +4. I agree. The only reason it is not a top 10 pick for me, I think I have it at 15, is because I recognize that Chattanooga can go absolutely nuts. We will get to this one as well, Hugh. I did not pick it, but I'll give you comments on it at the end. Drum roll, please. Do not shoot me. We are going back to Vermont against UMass Lowell. I am taking 6 with Vermont. Yes, I can hear my brother-in-law yelling at me through the screen right now. You know, Vermont's going to get it right with John Becker. And I like them early. And then I realized that they didn't have the defense going and the turnovers have been brutal. But they've been better with the turnovers. They're starting to get a little bit better. They're shooting well from the free throw line. And teams are shooting very well against the free throw line against them. They're on the road here. They blew out New Hampshire away by 20. They lost to Dartmouth away prior to that. I think Saturday, December 21st, is the bottom of the barrel for good old Vermont, losing to Dartmouth away by 30. But this is a buy low spot, getting 6 for Vermont on the road in the America East. That's a bit of a gift. I'm going to take them here against UMass Lowell, who, as much as they're good and they've won 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 straight games, they did have a close game against Albany. I think this is a good spot for Vermont to keep it close here. So I get Pat Duquette. He's a very good coach, doing well. They got the nation's 6th longest active winning streak at 7 straight games. I'm taking 6 with Vermont. Little much. I could get bit with this one. It could be Vermont still struggling. But at some point, John Becker's going to turn around because he's done it for 20 years. I think that New Hampshire game second half was it. That's why we're going to take Vermont +6. I have faded JMU all year just because I think they're in transition. And I think they had such a great season that their lines are inflated from last year. So now we have Marshall. And they lost to Troy by 1. That was a brutal loss. But they beat Texas State, the good Texas State team, by 6 before then. And now they have James Madison. James Madison not good at defending inside the arc. James Madison not forcing turnovers at all. They've won 3 straight. They did beat Arkansas State at home. That's a good win. This is a sandwich spot between a good Arkansas State team and an away game at Appalachian State. Marshall, this is flipped. This is why you need to be in the Discord here at FDN, because I got it at Marshall +1.5, and I am well aware that it's now Marshall -1.5, but I am fine with it there. That is my parlay play. Number 4, the top 3 picks for the day. Guys, it's a Bayesian process here. I like North Florida beginning of the year. They did well for us, and I've watched North Florida each of their last 3 games. They cannot stop dribble penetration. Their defense is god-awful, and they shoot threes at a 51% rate. More of their shots are threes than twos. They don't make a lot of them at 33%. It's just average. They lost away to UNC Asheville. They lost away to Florida by 54. They lost home to Austin Peay, which was horrific, giving up 97 points. And now they lost at home to Lipscomb and gave up 96 points. They have given up 95 or more points in 4 straight games, 2 of which were home. Now they're on the road against Eastern Kentucky, who loves to force turnovers and doesn't turn the ball over at all. I like Eastern Kentucky here. I think they're going to dribble, penetrate, and attack. I think they're going to play well. They should have beat Louisville away. They're a tough team, Eastern Kentucky. This line is too small. The only way it happens is if North Florida's scalding hot from 3. And even if they are, their defense is so bad, I think Eastern Kentucky gets the win. No sandwich spot here at all for Eastern Kentucky. They're coming off a loss to North Alabama way. They're going to be very, very angry. They're playing North Florida home, then Jacksonville home, then Austin P away. They need to right the ship. I think they do it here. Eastern Kentucky, top 3 play for the parlay against North Florida. I think I got this last night at 3 or 3.5. Ohio State is not good. I wasn't sure whether Jake Diebler was going to be good or not. They looked good earlier in the year, but he is still, in essence, a first-year coach in the Big Ten, and he's going against one of the best coaches in the Big Ten in Dana Altman. So I think this is a coaching mismatch. I know the game is home. Dana Altman had the bad loss to Illinois. They came back and beat a good defensive Maryland team at home by 4. They got a 3 at the buzzer against them. Otherwise, they would have easily covered. You've seen this Oregon team win a semi-away game against Stanford. You've seen this Oregon team win away at USC. You've seen this team win away at Oregon State in a rivalry game. I think they're ready to go. They are very much in contention to win the Big Ten. I think they're going to do so here. I am taking Oregon +3 at Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State's very good. I think they're going the wrong way. They beat Valpo. They blew out Kentucky. I think that was misleading. Then they lost at home to Michigan State. Then they barely beat Minnesota away. They got to go to Wisconsin after this. I am selling Ohio State and taking Oregon +3. And the number 1 pick here for the parlay is going to shock you being a Jersey guy. Guys, I love Rutgers at home, and I get it with the rack, and I understand that. Dylan Harper is not healthy. I don't know if he has mono or something. He is not healthy. So this is a bad Rutgers team that all they have is Ace Bailey. And now they're going against Purdue, who was in the national title last year. And I don't like Purdue a lot. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Kaufman-Renn, but they can play defense and they can frustrate Ace Bailey. And you saw Rutgers did not show up against Wisconsin. They tried to get back last second, but that didn't work out. They struggled here. They have 2 of the top 5 picks in the draft, but they don't have anything else that semblance any sort of offense. Somerville is terrible on offense. He's just a physical guy. They have lost to Princeton by 1 on the neutral. They beat Columbia at home. It was close. They pulled away late. They lost to Indiana away by 10. They effort in that game, but nothing. They lost to Wisconsin at home by 12, and I think they're losing here. And then they got Mick Cronin coming in. This is not your normal Rutgers team. I get it. If they were fully healthy, I get it. I would have picked them against Wisconsin. Dylan Harper was pointless being on the court. Couldn't get up and down the floor. Couldn't do anything. It's just Ace Bailey. He's going to go for his because he wants to show up for the draft. Things are falling apart in Rutgers. I feel bad because Steve Pikiell's a great coach. He needs both of them, and they've played well against Alabama. And they played well against Texas A&M, and they played well against Ohio State. They don't have it. I don't think Dylan Harper's ready to go. I don't think he's healthy. If he was, I'd probably be different. But in this game at 1.5, I'm on it. Frank Brank is on it with his models here too at FTN, and it's easy to see why. Those are my picks. So recapping, least confident to most confident, UNCG +4, Oregon State +6.5 at Santa Clara. Stetson finally getting over the hump at home against Central Arkansas. I don't think Elon's ready for prime time yet. UMBC on the road by 8.5 against the high school team is a lot. Hofstra's coached with Speedy Claxton. I think he righted the ship in their last game. Maine doesn't play fast enough to cover 7. Greg Campy on the road, 3.5. I like it, but a little uncertain. But Greg Campy against a first-year coach. Bellarmine +7.5 always plays well at home. Had some big wins last year. 7.5 is a lot. Scott Cross covers against Texas State in a payback spot for eliminating him in the conference tournament last year. Buying low on John Becker, fingers crossed. JMU in a sell spot here. Still, it's now -1.5 at Marshall. Eastern Kentucky likes to force a lot of turnovers. They're also very good. And North Florida's given up 90-plus points in 4 straight games. I don't think Ohio State's very good. I think Dana Altman is a much better coach than Jake Diebler, who I think is starting to regress. And Dylan Harper is not healthy. And because he is not healthy, I am going straight with Purdue. Comments, get to me here. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you want the Penn State Notre Dame game, Hugh? Yeah. Let me see. Hold on, Hugh. Pull it up right here. Penn State very disappointing in the neutral site game against Illinois. Well, it's not. They're not playing Notre Dame tonight. Oh, the football game. Sorry, you. I'm so into college basketball. I apologize. I'm rooting for James Franklin. We have some Penn State representation here at FTN. I just want these I want Ohio State and Penn State because I want one of these coaches can't win the big ones to have that reputation off their back. But our guy Walt Waddell's picking Notre Dame. I'm telling you there. Love the new format. I appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you very much. I agree. They have to shoot well, Brett, but I've seen Vermont. Vermont's really well coached, and I get it. UMass Lowell, but UMass Lowell is in Houston at home. Let's take it easy. Vermont's done well there. Too many points. About the total, no feeling. Jerry, got to check the model here for Frank Breck if he's got anything. I did not. No feeling on this one, Hugh, at all. I apologize. Owen, yeah, I took him at 1.5. That's why you got to get in our FTN Discord because I grabbed it last night as soon as it came out. Frank Brank has a play on it with our model, which run 10,000 simulations at 2. 2.5's getting up there, but probably would still go with Purdue. Eastern Kentucky's opening their new building too. Well, that's good news, Jerry. I didn't know that, Jerry. That makes me feel better. Yeah, same thing. It's because Dylan Harper is sick, Dan. He's not healthy. He's just not healthy. I don't know what he has. It could be mono. It's just something that's been lingering for 2 weeks. So I'm not a doctor. I'm just taking a guess. Go Ducks. I agree. Yeah, Dan, I'd have a feeling on this one. I mean, I've been fading Michigan State all year, and they've kind of stuck it to me. I think Michigan State is going to beat bad teams. That's their thing. And I don't think Washington's very good. My lean was Washington when I saw it. I did the numbers. I think the number's kind of right. So I stayed away. That's what it is. Hugh, you like the rankings. We'll stay with them, buddy. I appreciate it. Flu bug going around. Brett with inside information here. Brett, I appreciate it with Notre Dame. Didn't know about that. Notre Dame minus 1.5. It's fine. I know feel. Mike locked. Yeah, sorry, Costco. Wrong game. I apologize. New format, quantitative. We will go with the new format. I appreciate it. Now let's watch quantitative. We get like the 10 to 15 picks right and the first couple picks wrong. But whatever. We're going to go with this. I appreciate it. Jameson likes it as well. Thank you, guys. That's it. We're out of here. I got Nelson Sousa coming in doing a high stakes draft, so I got to go. As always, join us here, FTN. We find you the edge. We'll be back. The Saturday show is popping. We get 1K views. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Saturday, 10 a.m. I'll see you because at FTN Fantasy, we find you the edge. Here are 3 players to watch in the NCAA tournament that if you don't know, you better.